and we're ending the month of domestic violence. There have been, and speaking of that, staying on the same line, there's been a lot of things going around in Killeen to talk about domestic violence, yet it's still going on. You know, it's still the thing that we still sweep up under the carpet. It's still the thing that if you you can go to a church, I'm not saying all churches, but you can go to your church and they'll say you need to come to counseling, and counseling doesn't work. They never tell you to leave. They never say the next step of leaving, and they just don't. So we need to change the views on, I'll say now, IPV and domestic violence. We need to change people's views on it. We need to work hard at it, because it doesn't just affect the two people. It affects the entire family, because you'll find some kids who grow up bullying somebody. If you go back to their home life and check, you might see that there was domestic violence in the family, and domestic violence is bullying. Same thing, it's bullying. It's physical, but it's bullying, so it runs into the same space. But you'll find out that those kids are part of that family that those things happen to, and that kid is bullying people at school, or this learned behavior. It's what's going on, So we need to think about the fact that domestic violence is not just two people, just those two people. We need to remember and realize that it's those two people plus the family. So when we talk about domestic violence and get crazy enough to say, well, she asked for it or he asked for it, we need to remember nobody asked for it, number one. And if there's kids in the house, what did it do to them? What is it doing to our kids today? Are we paying attention to that? We have kids in detention, or DEAP as it's professionally called. If you have kids there and they're there because of anger issues, but do they get counseling on those anger issues to find out where it came from? Do they get that? Or are they just charged with what they did and you got to go regardless of why it happened? So sometimes I think we need to step back and realize and go into the family units and find out, how did this happen? Where did it begin? And we need to begin to talk about it. We need to make it a topic up front instead of a topic back in the back. A lot of times when we take a topic and we put it back in the back, it stays back there. We never bring it forward. So we need to start bringing those topics forward. And like I said, if we are all about our soldiers, okay, now we know this is a title, because the military, just like any place else, they only recognize something. When they recognize something, they bring it up. When they don't recognize it, you don't hear nothing about it. Nothing about it, because you never heard about this before. We never knew this group existed before, but now they've recognized it as being a bigger problem. They're now saying, okay, we need to do something about it. Well, now that they knew something about it, we need to connect with them and do it all together as one, because it affects everybody and not just one person. Sometimes it doesn't affect it might affect the family, but it can also affect the workplace. It can affect, friendships. It could affect sports. It can affect anywhere, where the anger, that misplaced anger or misdirected anger ends up going. So we need to do what we can to solve it, to stop it, to make sure everybody seeks help and where they need to seek help at, because, like I said, we need this to go away. And I'm going to bring this back around to politics. 2 years ago, your legislators, they created a bunch of agencies, to help with all these things, all the abuse, child abuse, domestic violence, and trafficking, because that's abuse too. They built in all these agencies for that, but they didn't fund them. So we asked for an entire thing, but they gave us part of it. So they created it, they didn't fund it. So now during this election time, we need to bring these things up and say, okay, are you going to fund this? Will this be funded? We need to demand that they put the money into it, because they've recognized it. They brought it to the top, but we need to see what they're going to do with it on the bottom. We need to see if they're going to fund these things. So once again, when we talk to these people that's running for office and you still haven't voted yet, and we know some candidates forms are coming up, ask them those questions. Ask them how much money they're putting into that. Just ask them directly, how much are you going to vote when it's time up how much you're going to vote to put into this agency to make these places work so that it comes back down the chain, so that it enters to the communities and the services, like I said, that they created, that those funds go into there so that we can fix, repair. Now, we're not going to be able to get rid of, but we can actually repair it enough where the numbers go down for domestic violence, for intimate, for this IPV, intimate partner violence. We can get rid of sex trafficking, human trafficking. All those things are abuse. They're all abuse, different forms of abuse, but they're all abuse. So ask your candidates what they're going to do about that. Ask them and see how many of them back against the wall. Ask them so you can see how many are going to turn their head because they either know somebody or they do it themselves. But ask the candidates that. Just throw it out there and see what you get. You know, we need to start being challenging and not rolling over. Too many times we just roll over and we go, yeah, I know so-and-so. Don't vote for people that you know just because you know them. They could be good friends, but lousy politicians. So let's not do that. That's a game we don't need to play. We need to be well informed. But all these abuse that I just named, ask them about them. I will. I voted already, but I'm going to go to the next candidates forum. Guess what? Because I want to see what they're going to say out loud when I ask this question. I want to know what our person who's running for county commissioner, I want to know what are they going to do about the domestic violence, about the sex trafficking, and about this intimate partner violence that the VA has. In Bell County, we have a whole lot of soldiers, active duty and retired. What are they going to do? Are they going to open a county facility? What are they going to do? Well, just what? We need to know. Person that's running for state legislator, how much funds you going to put into this? What are you going to do? The person that's running for Congress, wow, what are you going to do? And when you sit up there, what are you going to bring forth? Because they can't tell you they're going to get it passed because they don't know. But what are they going to bring forth? Oh, you want to know what they're going to bring forth. So bring something to home, you know, that you want them to talk about. Me, I'm going to ask them about all these abuses. I want to know what they think about all three of them. I want to know what do they personally think about it, and what they're going to do about it. Personally, what they want to do about it is what I'm saying is, are you going to bring it up in the form of a bill and get it on the floor? Are you just going to sit there and say nothing and wait for somebody else to do it? I want to know what they're going to do. Because I need to know, because I'm a voter and I'm also an informed voter. And informed voters are some of the dangerous people because you get into their heads and you ask questions that they don't want to answer. So, you know, and I want to make them uncomfortable. Making a candidate uncomfortable was so much fun because that meant they weren't prepared for everything when they got there. So we need those things to happen, and we need it to happen now. And you notice, if you realize what I just did was I brought all the topics I was talking about back to voting. I brought it back to voting because it starts there. All these programs that we have and all these things that are going on, if they're not properly funded, then it stays. Whatever negative is, it gets to stay. Bullying gets to stay. Child sex trafficking gets to stay. The intimate partner violence gets to stay. Domestic violence gets to stay. It gets to stay there. So we need to, like I said, make your politicians uncomfortable by asking them those pertinent questions. And ask them again. And if you might say, I don't have time to contact my person, my legislator, my county commissioner, my governor, guess what? Most of them are on Facebook. And they all have an email address. So, you know, a lot of times when we're idly sitting there on Facebook, just looking and scrolling, we could be emailing while we're looking and scrolling. We could Facebook them. Facebook, go to their Facebook page and send them a message. So while we're strolling and doing these things, remember, we can be doing that too in a helpful, safe sort of way. And you know what? More information. So you need to get your pencil and paper this time because I have a whole lot. And it's about soldiers again. Soldiers, I think I'm taking care of y'all today, okay? But it's all good. Okay, the VA Decision Ready Claims Program, supposed to be right now, it's supposed to be the fastest way to process your claims. So you need to get started. If you're submitting a claim for increase in disability compensation, you need to know that the VA's Decision Ready Okay, it's the DRC. The Decisions Ready Claims Program, but it's just DRC, steps up to expedite your claims. So you need to know is appoint and work with an accredited veterans service organization, which is really important. Because I hear veterans all the time talking about, I'm getting screwed because my paperwork is this and this and that. So you do need to get with somebody who's actually qualified and verified to do that. You need to gather all relevant and inquired evidence to support your claim, such as your military service records and your medical examinations. You need to attend a VA claim exam if needed. Submit your claims. In addition to your claims for increases, the same DRC program covers certain claims related to direct, presummative, and service-connected issues. Surviving spouses can file certain claims under DRC, and transitioning service members and discharge claims less than 90 days from leaving the military. So I'll say you need to go to exploreva.gov, and you can find out more information about what they're doing for service members and your issues of the claims, because as you all know, and heck, I know, and I just hear about it, is getting your claims ends up being a walking nightmare. To me, it looks like they're, waiting for you to pass away so they don't have to pay any money. But I'm not going to, that might not be true, but kind of seems that way. So, soldiers, you need to step it up. Go to exploreva.gov and explore how you get your benefits. Obviously, they've changed some things to make it a little more better, a little more safer, and easier for you. So you need to take that. If they did that first step, then I think you need to take the second step and explore them and see what they do. Like I said, go to exploreva.gov, go there and see what they're doing to make sure that you get what you deserve and what you raise your right hand, to do this and protect. And later on you find out it's not working so well. So let's see if this works. And if it doesn't work, then we need to say something about it. Just in case. We do need to say something about that. Okay, so I'm leaving the veterans right now, and I'm going to go to the school districts. I'm not talking about the school districts, but we're going to talk to the parents. Parents need to learn to be advocates for your kids. Our kids are suffering in school, and they come to you and tell you, and you don't do anything about it, or you don't know what to do about it. It's fine not to know what to do about it, because guess what? I'll say this, and I say it all the time. Most of us are only 3 people away from any piece of information that we need to know. You actually are. And I thought about it, and I've done it before. You actually are. All the way around, you're 3 people away from knowing any piece of information you got. But parents, I need you to learn to be advocates for your children. You need to be the voice that they don't have when they're in classroom. When your kid comes home from school, do not ask them, how was your day? Because they're going to say it was okay. When in actuality, it wasn't. So instead, when your child comes home from school every day, or, if you're a parent who only gets the kids on the weekend or whatever, when you see your child, don't say, how was your day at school? Ask them, how was PE? How was music? How was English class? How was art? How was these classes? Ask them about these classes all the way down the line. How were they? Then guess what? They'll give you different answers at that point. Well, in English, so-and-so was cutting up and, they got in trouble. Question, so where were you? I wasn't nowhere in it. Okay, good. Or you'll get different answers at that point when you break things down to your children. It's important that we stop saying, how was your day? Because, as an adult, I can ask you, how was your day? You're going to be like, it was all right. But I might ask you, because I've heard you talk about a certain person, I might say, how is Mr. whatever, Mr. Green? You be like, oh man, he was acting a fool today. He came in late, wanted to leave early. Well, I just changed the conversation from you saying, it was all right, to directly asking you a direct question. Now I get a real answer of what I need. So parents, ask your child, and also ask your child who's the smartest kid in the class. Ask them that. And ask them, why is that child the smartest? Ask them that. They need to, because they know. The kids know. They know. Ask them why do they think the kids are smartest. Challenge your child on that. And challenge you too. Like parents, it's a thing called read. You know, it's been going around for a couple of years now. We need to reintroduce our children into it. Because obviously some of them have forgotten. You got kids who can't read and don't want to read. They don't understand why they need to read. Well, you know what? Reading does not necessarily start in school. Sometimes reading can start at home. And it should start at home. So parents, if you have elementary kids or middle school kids, have your child read to you aloud. Have them stand in front of you or sit next to you where you're not looking at the book. You're not looking at it. You're not. You're listening. And listen to your child read it. Listen to the words that they stumble over that you might say, you're in the 9th grade. You shouldn't be, that word, you should have known better. You know, you should have known better, know how to say that one word. But it's important that you do that to them. And it's important that you do it really in the elementary schools because, you know, a lot of times kids have to stand up and answer questions or go write something on a whiteboard. And they're afraid to do it in front of classroom because they never had the experience of standing in front of anybody. Have your kids stand in front of you and the whole family a couple of times a week, you know, and actually read to you from anything, a magazine, it doesn't matter what they read to you from, but make it something that's comfortable for them, but have them read the newspaper in front of you, not the entire newspaper, but a certain section. If you got a kid that loves sports, have him read one of the sports articles to you and then have him tell you what he read, because if he can read it, but he can't repeat back to you what it said, then his or her comprehension skills are gone. They're not there yet. So reading is one thing, comprehension is another. Because a lot of people, you can read something, like, what is that? I don't know what it is. I was just reading it. So that's either an issue of you're reading because you're bored and you're just passing time of day, or you read it, but you can't comprehend it because you don't know how. You know, so parents, check that out. When your kid comes to school and tell you that the teacher's, you know, yelling at them, bullying them, whatever, get up and do something about it. Email the teacher and the principal actually together. It's never email just the teacher. Always email the teacher and the principal. But you send an email. Email is better than calling nowadays because people are quick to sit and say that. So I would recommend that you email the teacher. If the teacher is crazy enough to give you the phone number, text them. But you want it in writing. But so when your kids come home and say something happened, don't say, what did you do? You know, ask them, why did it happen? The teacher called me stupid. Why? Don't say, what did you do to cause it? Because now you automatically have told your child that I know you're guilty. But what you ask them is, what happened to make them say that? You know, and you're not challenging them. You're just saying, what happened? You want to know, you know, what was going on at the classroom. But don't immediately ask your kid, what did you do? Because you've accused them already of doing it. Thus, you're going to lose all the trust that they had in you, and they're not going to tell you nothing else. Because their first thing they'll say, well, she's going to believe I did it. No need me going to them. So pay attention to what your child says and ask them the right questions. And as of today, do not say, how was your day at school? Because remember, you might ask me, how was my day at work? And I'm going to say, it was okay. It was all right. But let's say you ask me, you know, did y'all have a fire drill today? I'm like, oh yeah, we had a fire drill. We went on the block. We was in the back of the school where we usually were, and some people didn't hear the fact that we had an alternative fire drill with alternative site, which is in front of the school. So you know you have half a school in the back, and some trying to figure out where to go, and some of the ones in front. So yeah, it was a nightmare at that time, and working with special kids on a moment of change, it's not exactly the right thing to be happening right then and there. But if you ask me a more pointed question, I'm going to give you a more of a pointed answer. You know, if you ask me, did anything happen crazy at your class, in your school today? Oh man, yeah, you know, they found a snake in the ceiling tile of one of the classrooms. I'm going to give you a different answer at that point, you know, and I could pick on Joe. I said, Joe, how was your day today? He'd be like, all right. I'm like, man, what time did you get to work? He go, oh man, I got to work at, oh my God. Now I'm going to get a whole new story from him because I pinpointed it there. Ask them another question. So do it the same to your kids. And, you know, if you're the weekend father, the weekend mother, ask the same question. Don't ask, how was your school? No, get pointed about it. You know, ask them who's their best friend. Do you have any friends in your whatever class? Do you have any friends in this class? If they say no, yes, or whatever, inquire about that. Also, ask your kid, do you have any buddies in school? If your child says no, they don't have any friends in school, you need to pump the brakes and stop and say, well, why not? Because if they tell you that I don't have any friends in school, well, why not? Just wait, hold up. There's 100 and some kids in your whole school and none of them are your friends. So now you want to know what's going on because there's something either going on to your child or your child is doing something in school they shouldn't be doing. But if your child says they don't have any friends in school, worry right then. That's worry time, because all kids have somebody in school they should have a friend. And I'm not gonna say a best friend, oh my God, whatever, but a friend that they can talk to and just talk about whatever. But if they say they have none, then parents, you need to wonder, you need to worry. Also, you need to pay attention to your children as far as what they're doing. If you have a child in 70-degree weather and they have on long sleeves, you might, and that's not normally your kid, you might need to wonder about that. You might need to raise their sleeve up and see what's going on. You might have a child that's cutting themselves, but they got on long sleeves and it's 70 degrees, and normally they don't. Pay attention to those little bitty changes in your child. Pay attention to the child who's got a big mouth, always talking. All of a sudden, they come home from school and they're not talking. They sit at the dinner table and they're not talking. Then you need to say, don't listen to the fact that I don't feel good today. Let's really talk about this and find out what's going on. Kids tell you what's going on with them. You just don't pick it up. You really don't pick it up. I work in the pre-K hallway, and pre-K kids are the most gossiping people in the world. Since they don't have a social life, they don't have homeboy on the street, they don't have a cell phone, you're their life. One little girl, every morning, we just tell her to be quiet. We spent most of the morning, would you be quiet? Would you stop talking? She'll go, yeah, and da-da-da. You were like, really? I just asked you to stop talking. Well, one day she came to school and she didn't talk. She didn't say anything. We walked past her, and we looked at her waiting, because we were waiting to say don't talk, but she didn't talk. So like, okay, maybe she's still, our first thing was maybe she's sleeping. All right, about an hour later, we're looking at her, she didn't talk. So it's finally like, okay, we got to talk to her, figure out what's wrong. She'll say, so what's wrong this morning? I'm okay. For real? Really? Did you wake up okay? Did you have breakfast? Bam. She said, no, I didn't have breakfast. Why not? She said, no food in the house. I said, but we have free breakfast at school. Did you know that? No, she didn't know. She didn't know that we had free breakfast at school. But she left home with no breakfast. So that messed up her day, because we asked her, so what do you eat for breakfast? Well, she had her best favorite cereal that she ate for breakfast. I'm not a cereal person, so I don't know the name of any of them, but whatever name cereal she named, whatever it was, they didn't have it. There was nothing for breakfast. So she just came to school. So for her energy in the morning was eating breakfast, coming to school, and then she ran her mouth all the rest of the day. So we went back. We had to step back and go, okay, now if you come in our classroom, we got food in all of our room. Our room looks like we're foodaholics and belongs to the National Food Society. But it's not just for us, it's for the other kids. So guess what we fed her? We're here. Come, here's some cereal, here's some milk. Bam, eat. Because we needed her not to so much be in trouble for being herself, but we needed her to be better than what she was at that time. But she wasn't, so pay attention. Kids give off signs. They do, because they're not the best cover-up artists in the world. They're the worst cover-up artists in the world. But our problem is we don't look at them anymore. We don't look at the kid who used to dress all cool and all of a sudden looking like a ragamuffin. We don't say that. We just say to ourselves, I wonder what happened. But nobody asks the question of what happened. We need to start asking. Boys, when, your all-American boy, son, all of a sudden become this mush of quietness. So what happened? That's when you need to talk to them and not just say, hey, what's going on with you? You ask all the 50 questions that lead to the one answer that you actually want. You might, how's you and Jim doing? Are y'all still really good friends? No. Whoa, number one, you and Jim still hang out on the weekends? When you went to play basketball with the boys, was he there? No, he wasn't there. Number two. So there are things that you find out from your kids that they're giving off the right answers to you because they're giving you what you need to know without you going straight to saying, so what's wrong? No, because you've accused me already. And now you've caused me to put up a steel barrier that I'm going to keep up, and I'm never going to put it down because I already know what you're going to do. So let's talk to our kids become advocates for your child. They cannot advocate for themselves. They'll get punished for it. Believe me, I know they will. So they can't advocate for themselves, and don't let them think they need to advocate for themselves. Always let them think that they can come to you. They can come to you as a parent and talk to you, and tell you exactly what's going on, because they know that you're going to do something about it. When your kid doesn't come and talk to you and things are going on, that's because they don't have enough faith in you that you're going to do anything about it. You need to think about that. You need to think about that. They're going to go where they're going to do anything anyway, so I'm not even going to mention it. I'm just going to deal with it. Don't let that be your child. Just don't. Don't let that be your child. It's happening too much, too often. Through us being more relaxed people right now, we let sex trafficking come in and take over. We let a lot of things just come in. We let, as on my Facebook page, sometimes I'll print a picture, and the picture is of nighttime, but it's saying, it's telling you that the streets will take your child, utilize your child, and send it back home for you to bury. And it's the streets. And that's true. The streets will take your child, do what they need to do with your child, and send it back home for you to bury. And is that what we want? But it seems to be that is what we want, because that's what's happening, and we're not doing anything about it. We're chilling, and we need to get uncomfortable, stop chilling, talk to your kids. Talk to somebody else's kids. If you see another kid that you've been knowing this kid for a while, hey, something going on, so what's wrong? What's going on? Ask some questions and see what it is, and what's going on. But I guess this is my preaching Sunday that I've done, and I hope you've learned a whole lot, because I've talked about a whole bunch of things while we've been here having some time together. But I hope you listened, learned, and understood, and pass on the information that you've been given by me this morning, and I guess every Sunday morning. But I want to thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections at MyKISS 1031. Oh, wait, I need to tell you, too, because someone asked me. Yes, I'm in Temple. They didn't leave me in Copper's Cove. Because somebody asked me, did they leave me in Cove? I was like, no, I'm in Temple, too, with everybody else. So that was a really cute question. So yes, I'm in Temple, too. And it's dangerous me being in Temple, because I shop on the way back to Killeen. It's not fair. But anyway, thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections at 1031. I hope that you have a terrific day. But I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.